Hi, this is Hans from Dakota Angler and Outfitter. In this video we are tying a Starling Olive Soft Hackle. This is a very effective fly, both fished as a traditional wet fly, or I also use it as a dropper below a nymph or a dry fly. It's been particularly effective as a dropper below a dry fly. What I've got is a wet fly hook in the vise. You can use a Tiemco 3769 or a Daiichi wet fly hook, either a 1550, 1560, 1530, depending on the length of the shank you want. You have a few options. This is a shorter shank wet fly hook. I'm going to start my thread and get it just behind the eye. Then what I'll do is I'll grab some silver small wire. And what I'll do is, as I wrap my thread to the back of the hook with touching wraps, just tie that wire in as I go. So now I've got my wire tied in. I can go back just one more wrap or so. You don't need a really long body on this fly. I'm going to spin my thread until I see it flatten out, get nice and flat. Then I'm going to start forward again with nice touching wraps, building a thread body. Come back to that tie-in point for that wire. There we go. And then I will rib just 5 ribs or so of that silver wire. And then when I get to that tie-in point at the front, I will tie that off with a few wraps. And then we can just wiggle that wire until it comes free. A couple more wraps. We'll put the thorax of the fly on. I'm using black ice dubbing. You don't need a lot of dubbing here. So I've got a noodle about 1 inch long and fairly thin. Get about half of that on, and then I'll tighten it up again, and I like to wrap that into a nice ball shape, and what that does is really props up our soft hackle. Next, I've selected a starling feather, and you just have to look around on the pelt, or if you buy a bagged bag of the select feathers from Nature's Spirit, just make sure you're getting the right size feather for your size hook. What I want are barbs that are long enough on this feather. I'm going to go ahead and start stripping some away from the bottom, but I want those barbs to come back almost to the back of the fly when they're wrapped on. So this is a size 12, so I'm going to need some fairly long barbs for starling, but you can find those easily on a pelt. I like starling because it's got a nice kind of dark black color, sometimes a little bit of iridescence mixed in. It's a nice color for imitating a lot of midges and baetis that we have in our stream. So that looks about the length I want. So I'm just going to fold the feather back at that point and give myself a good 1/2 inch, maybe of stem with feather still on it to wrap with. Probably won't need that much, but next thing I'll do is I just trim off. So I've got a little small tie-in point here. Now that those are folded back, I'll tie that in right there. Make sure that's tied in well. And with these small feathers like this, it doesn't hurt to use a hackle plier. This one's still got plenty of stem left on it, so I should be able to manage without a hackle plier. I'm just going to fold the fibers back a little bit like that so that they start to angle backwards, and then I can make 2 or 3 wraps. Doesn't need to be too heavily hackled. I'll just use up what's on there. Get back to my fine stem for my tie-in point. Tie that off, fold the stem back. I'll just go ahead and whip finish with that stem there and trim it out when I'm done. go in and trim out that thread, and I'll also trim out that hackle stem. And there you go. Really simple soft hackle pattern, but that one has been deadly for me, especially the last few weeks. But anytime the fish are feeding on emerging insects, midges, betas, this is something that fishes really well in the top half of the water column, and really fools fish. So tie some of these up, tie them in sizes 12 through 18, and you'll have a deadly pattern on your local stream. Thanks for watching.